Hey guys, welcome to another episode of LFA Shop. This week we're back on the 25 again, and we're going to try and tackle this rust in the battery tray. So in the last episode on the 25, I left you about 15 seconds ago with this front rad sport cutout and needing to wait for sandblasting. So what I need to tackle this week is this battery tray rust. So as you can see, the battery tray normally sits in there, which I'm not going to have it there anyway. The battery tray normally sits there, and then over time it leaks and rusts them out because they all rust there in every model pretty much. So I'm going to start tackling this, cut it out, bend up a new piece of steel and start welding it back in. So hopefully I can get this pretty well done by myself, and then if I get stuck, I've got a few mates that can help me finish it off. So first order of business is going to be to wire wheel this section here and work out where I need to cut to start replacing, because I don't want to obviously cut out the bit that's rusty and then there's a piece just below it that's just as rusty. So I'll wire wheel this and then cut it out. So I gave that a quick clean over with the wire wheel and the sanding disc on the grinder. Got a fresh piece of metal the whole way around now. This side is a little bit still rusty, but it'll come up with the sandblasting, so I'm not too worried about that. I've cut just inside the part where this bends, so there's a bit of like a recess. I'll show you on the other side in a second. So hopefully most of this will be pretty flat. Obviously it's curved, but it's not many different angles, it's just bent this direction rather than this way as well. So if we look at the other side, so as you can see on this side it comes up a bit, there's a nice flat spot here and then curves into this way and then comes up again over here. So I'm going to try and do it all in one piece. I'll probably lose this ridge here, but I'm not too concerned about that. So I can go one flat piece through here, across here, and then down onto this bit, and then join up back down here where it was on the other side. So fingers crossed I can make this out of one piece and it's not a huge pain in the butt. We shall see. Quick little update. So you saw me cut this piece out, flatten it out reasonably well, trace it onto another piece of steel. Working with that currently to fill the hole, obviously. So I'm going to go back on time lapse, but that's what I'm doing. So just keep trimming this and bending this very slowly and gradually until it fits in the hole, and then we can start tacking stuff in place. Alright, so I haven't done a lot of panel repairs before. I've done a little bit, but nothing that I wanted to be this good. So I've just tried to set up the welder, and I'm getting a few little dots there. That's not too bad, it's not blowing through immediately. And I've tacked this piece in place, so it follows the contours reasonably well. This spot's a little bit in, and same over this side. Here follows really good, and then up here follows really nicely, and this curve follows nicely as well. And on this side here is a little bit in as well, so I need to knock that back out. This bit follows pretty nice. If anything, it's a little bit high. And then this top section doesn't really line up very well, which is a bit frustrating. So I might have to cut this again. I probably will, to be honest. I'll cut there and then make another little piece for in there, because trying to fill this hole with like 1mm steel is going to be a pain. So remake it. And then I'm just going to try and hammer this very gently everywhere and get all the things to line up and get some tack welds on here and start welding it, I guess. I don't know, I haven't done this before. Alright, so we got the new panel tacked in place. So as you can see, I've done a bunch of little tacks. And obviously I need to try and keep this really cold. So I'm just doing one, say here, one over here, one up here, leave it for a minute, do another couple, leave it for a minute. Pretty much if I can't touch it, it's too hot, is the way I'm thinking about it. So I'm just gonna do this off camera because it's gonna take forever. I'm just gonna sit here and play on my phone and then do some welds and then play on my phone and then do some welds. So sorry, but I'll show you once it's all finished. And probably should note, I'm only gonna go to this weld here. So I'm gonna cut this off later at these two welds here, and then I'll remake that piece because I'm not happy with the fitment. But the rest of it fits pretty good. So it's just gonna be a real patient, slow game. It's getting there. So I've done my first pass of welding. I just tacked in this one towards the end, so I haven't done a full run around that. There's obviously a few holes still, but I'm going to smooth it off, which I've started. And then I'm going to go back through and fill up all the holes and then smooth it again. So I'm not good enough to metal finish this. I'll get it pretty close. As you can see, like here, for example, that's dead smooth and it's actually really nice. So it just needs more love, really. But I'm going to put a little thin layer of bog over it and then sand it out. And it'll be very, very thin, like not even a millimeter. So I'm really happy with it so far. I'm just going to keep being patient. So I'm going to go do something else for a little bit and I'll come back and do some more welds and some more smoothing, because if I rush it, it'll bugger up. So I don't want to rush it. And I did actually copy this dent into the plate here. I just used a 1/4 inch extension and just hit it with a hammer and actually managed to get a little groove in there. So I'll weld that from the back and the rest of it I'll weld from the front, and it should be reasonably good. And that happens to be the same diameter as the die grinder, so it actually fits in there really good. So it should come out alright, I think. I'll fog it with some black once it's all done, and then we'll be able to see how good or bad it is, I guess. And then once it gets sandblasted, get a nice coat of primer on there, and then we can put some bog on it and make it look nice. But there's the other side for reference once again. So I pretty much lose most of this line here up to about there. And there's actually a dent here, or a boss area here, which I'll also lose, but it doesn't bother me one bit. So that last clip you saw is the last time I worked on this thing. Alright, so what I've done is I've put a light behind the panel, and now you can see where I've missed a small section of weld. So there's one just there where the texture is. There's a few more up here. You can kind of see it a bit better on the camera than you can in person, to be honest. And then I haven't done this section up here, obviously. And there's a few more spots that are pretty bad over this side. So I'm going to weld those up again, weld all of this up again, weld all this up again, and then I'm going to go back to grinding and try and get this thing finished. And then I've purposely not looked at the back of it, so we can look at it together and see how good or bad it is. And then I'll clean up the back as well. Alright, so I think I'm there. I think I'm done. Haven't looked at the other side yet, but it's reasonably well done on this side, I think. Again, I don't do this for a living, so I'm sort of just making it up as I go along. And a thin coat of bog will fix what I've done wrong, I guess. So I'm hoping that comes out pretty good. I'm going to chuck a bit of paint on it, just a rattle can bit of black on it, just to stop it from rusting again, and also to see how smooth it is. There's a few little spots, like on this side, there's a bit of a dent where it should be nice and smooth, and a few spots like that. But overall I'm pretty happy with it. I haven't looked at the other side, so let's do that, and then I'll get some black paint and see how it looks. Alright, so the other side, I wasn't expecting it to be beautiful, but it's not horrible. There's a few little spiky spots where I've obviously missed with the welder. But overall, pretty decent, I think. I'm not really going to touch it. I might take a few of the higher spots off. I'll take all the bits of MIG wire off, obviously. But there's like a drop there that I should take off, and a high spot just there. Other than that, I'm reasonably happy with that, actually. It's all going to get covered in bed liner anyway, or under guard liner, so it'll hide pretty well. But if I grind this nice and smooth, it'll take out a lot of the strength, because I'm not very good at this, as I've said before. But pretty good, I think, for a first attempt. Okay, so cleaned up, bit of black paint. You can see the scratch marks pretty well, which obviously will come out with high build and primer. But there's a little bit of a ridge through here, and obviously a ridge through there. I'm going to have to put some bog on, But overall, I'm pretty happy with it. Feel free to rip me apart in the comments, but I don't do this for a living. If I did, I probably wouldn't do it at home. And then the back, obviously a lot more agricultural on the front, but this side will be covered in body smuts, whatever, and then this side will be painted, so more important for this side to be nice. I'm pretty happy with that, really. Alright, so that's it for this episode. Just a quick panel replacement. Quick rust repair. Not really that quick, but got it done and I'm pretty happy with the result. So thank you heaps for watching and we'll see you next week.